Okay, this is part 4 on my series on how to get Half-Life 1 and GoldSrc models into Source Filmmaker. Private Jack here, and basically it's compile time, so let's get on with it. We've got the QCs all written, everything is done. Now we need to open up Crowbar again. So open Crowbar and click on the Compile tab. Now, when you open up the Compile tab, it looks pretty much the same as the Decompile tab, and you can do practically everything that you did in Decompile in Compile. Anyway, make a long story short, what we're going to do is we're going to set up Crowbar to compile for Source Filmmaker. Now, right here, this is the actual Studiomdl that that Crowbar is going to try and use to compile the model. We don't want it to go to Alien Swarm, so what you do is you click on the down arrow key here and you find the compiler or the game that you want to compile your model for. We want it to go to Source Filmmaker, so click on Source Filmmaker, and yours will probably say C:\\Steam Apps Common Source Filmmaker Game Bin Studiomdl -game C:\\. I have my stuff on an F drive, so that's the difference between the two. Now, if you do not find Source Filmmaker in the list of games here, what you have to do is you actually have to set it up. And the way you do that is by going here, click on Game Setup, or Setup Game. Click on, let's say, let's just get this back here. So I didn't have Source Filmmaker in my list, so I'm going to click on Add. Everything will come up here, new game, yada, 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 okay, and basically all I have to do now is name the game, Source Filmmaker, and then I have to configure this information here. So where I want to do is I want to find where my game info text file is for Source Filmmaker. So I click on the Browse button, and I go to my Source Filmmaker folders, go into Game, and the the game info text file is found in user mod right here. Okay, so this is the folder that I want to select. Click on Open, and the information changes. Now, what we need to do is find the Studiomdl version that we're going to compile with, and Source Filmmaker has its own Studiomdl exe file. So click on Browse again, back into Source Filmmaker folder, Game, and Studiomdl is found in the bin folder right here. Okay, so Source Filmmaker, Game, Bin. Click Open, and the information will change again. Now all I have to do is click on Save and Close. So now I have Source Filmmaker, and I have my command line here. Okay, that done. Now all we have to do is browse for our QCs. Click on, we can either open up the folder where the QC is living. Where's my... I was going to delete these and I didn't. Where's my Gordon? There's Gordon. Okay, so I'm going to click on the QC and I'm going to pull the QC up and drop it in here. I can either do that or I can actually browse for it. Desktop, Blue Shift, Gordon, and select the QC and click Open. Okay, We don't want to send it to a different output folder. We want it to use the actual information that we gave the QC for where we want the model to compile. Next thing we want to set up is no pre-force, and we want it to be verbose. Once that's done, simply click on the compile button, and hopefully everything will go through and it finishes. So it says here down here, check for errors above. So you just quickly walk through the log file, and I don't see any errors. So this one compiled. Now we're going to do the crowbar. W crowbar down here, way down here. Click on the QC. Information changes. Come down here. We don't have to change anything in here. Click compile. Away it goes. And everything finished. So it saved it to my Steam Apps, Common, Source Filmmaker, Game, User Mod, Models, Blue Shift, Crowbar, and there are the files that were created. Okay, that looks good. Now for the TFC model, back up my desktop, go into the TFC folder. I'm saving the CS guy for last because I've got, actually I left an error in this one too, I think. I'm going to click on the Sniper QC, everything stays the same, click compile. And here I've got an error, and what it's telling me is that there's a bad error. There's an error in my QC on line 11. There's a bad command, and it's an open curly bracket. So now what I have to do is I have to go into my QC, and I can just click Go To here. Open my QC in Notepad. And this is why I love Notepad so great, is because I actually have line numbers. I can just come down here, find line 11, and I find that there's no open curly bracket on line 11. What the heck is the problem? Well, the problem is right here. I did not close off the quotation mark. So that is one of the errors that you're going to find. It will look for the next line, and because all this information in here before this opening curly bracket is incorrect for CD materials, it stopped here at line 11 and said, no, I can't go any further. You got to fix me. Okay, so now that I've got that, all I have to do now is save my QC, go back into Crowbar, and click compile. Happy, everything looks good. Check above for errors. It went into my Steam Apps, Common, Source Filmmaker, Game, User Mod, Models, TFC, Sniper, and these are the files that were created. Excellent. Everything looks good. And these are all the animations that are going to actually be included in the model. And where it found that information, let's go back and have a look at this, is right here. These are the actual SMDs that it compiled into being sequences in the model. Okay, now for the CSGO guy, or the CS16 guy. Browse, back up to my desktop, CS16. There are errors in this model, and when I actually run the QC, you're going to see what they are. Now, I closed off all of the blended animations, and I'm going to click compile. And what it's going to find is that there's a duplicate sequence name in the actual file. I don't know why these guys do that, but whatever reason, when it brought the SMD information over for the animations, it duplicated some of them. So now what I have to do is I actually have to come in here. I'm going to pick this up, and I'm going to do a Control-C to copy that information to the clipboard. I'm going to go to the QC, open it up. I'm going to use my search in Notepad++, click on Find, drop the information in, find Next. This is the first instance. Find Next, and this is the second instance. So all I have to do to get rid of this second instance is actually take off the closing comment block and take off that opening comment block and save the QC. Once that's done, back into Crowbar, run it again, and there's going to be a couple of these right there. Reference dual pistols, grab that information. Make sure you bring the quotation marks with you, or you're going to end up running into like having to go through line by line by line by line until you actually find the error. So I'm going to drop that information in here, find Next, and this is the second instance of it. The other one is up above because I've already come through the QC once. So all I have to do now is come up here, take out that closing comment, take out this opening comment, save the file, back into Crowbar, compile, happy, 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 and it finished. Okay, so this one went to Steam Apps, Commons, Source Filmmaker Game, User Mod Models, CS16, Gorilla. Excellent. That's exactly where I want it to go. My models are now compiled. Time to open up Source Filmmaker. And find out if everything came together the way it should have. Okay, I'm going to create a session. I'm not even going to load a map. I just want to have a look and see if the models actually came through. So, new model. I'm going to change this to user mod because that's where they are. And I'm going to type in here sniper. And this is the model that I just compiled right here, TF sniper. And lo and behold, there he is. Let's check the gorilla. There's the gorilla. Now for Gordon. There's Gordon. And what about his crowbar? There's his crowbar. Everything came through. I can spawn these models now into Source Filmmaker. So let's load a map now. Create a new model. Sniper. Open him up. New model. Gordon. Bring him in. Bring in his crowbar. And bring in the gorilla. Now that they're all clustered up here in one location, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them on the stage and show you the next problem that you're going to encounter with these type of models. And I'll tell you how you can fix it. I'm not going to show you how. So I'm going to grab their position. Going to go into the motion editor and I'm just going to default them. They all defaulted there, and they did not come above the stage. The reason why they didn't is because these models have their point of origin in the middle of the model. Now, if you want to fix that, what you have to do is you actually have to take the reference SMDs into a program like Blender, Maya, or 3ds Max and move the origin point for the model to the feet of the model and pull the model up above the floor. Then export the SMD to get it to actually work. So I'm going to pull them up above the floor. Just going to grab the sniper, pull him off the rear, grab hold of Gordon, pull him forward, lock up his crowbar to his hand, and of course all the bones are unknown. That's the other thing. Right hand, where are you? Right hand, unknown, box 1. 0 the model. There we go. And there we have them. Gee, I almost forgot to do this again. Okay, so anyway, here are our models, and we want to have a look at the animation, the sequences for the actual animations. So import. I'm going to do the sniper first. Sequence. And here's the look idle. Two-hand shoot. Crouch didn't work properly, and I didn't expect it would. Looks like there's a bunch of bad animations in this one. Okay, dead sitting. Why are you not working? Die backwards. There we go. So, if you want them to actually work properly in Source FilmMaker, what you need to do is go through and decompile the model, take the animations into Blender onto the model and make sure that they actually work. And that's way beyond the scope of this particular series. That might be a good one that I might want to use on one of the TF2 characters. Headshot. Poof. Okay. Jump. Run doesn't work either. Must have been one of those blended things. Run 2. Okay, there we go. And the old run, the way that they used to in TF2 or TF Classic. Yep, that one's not working. Tread water. Didn't expect the walk two-handed to work either, and walk doesn't work either. So these are those sliders that I was talking about for blended animations, and for whatever reason I don't know how to populate these things yet. It's something that I'm working on, and anyway, make a long story short, it just not there. Source FilmMaker doesn't let me do this. Okay, let's have a look at the Gordon model. Import sequences. Idle 1. Two-hand shoot should... Oh, it's working. Crawl. Crouch idle. Dead back. Dead sitting. These ones are working fine. Dead stomach. Dead on the table. Deep idle. Die backwards. Die simple. Can't be any more simple than that. Die spin. Headshot. Oh, this run is working good. How's the walk turn out? And walk 2. There we go. Those ones work good. Now for the CS guy. There's the load sequence. Almost like a ragdoll. Now, the dummy sequence in the QC when you first decompile the model is the first sequence in the list. I changed mine up so that the idle sequence was first. If I hadn't, this would have been the way that the model would have spawned in Source FilmMaker. Headshot. The I am stupid placeholder. Standard T-pose. This one didn't turn out too bad. Another T-pose. And the walk didn't turn out as good as I thought it would. Oh well. Anyway, there you have it. Any questions? Like I say, in the comments block. Talk to you later. Private Jack out.